everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Emma and Georgia, and today we're watching How to Get Away with Murder, Season 5, Episode 5. If you want to watch our uncut season reactions, links to the Patreon is down below.
So last episode, Annalise was trying to get Nate's dad, Annalise and the whole class. What is she teaching again? I can't even remember what class she's supposed to be teaching now.
I love that episode where she was literally like halving them and basically telling the other half to go home. Yeah. But I can't really remember. But yeah, we haven't really seen her much in the classroom since then, so my memory is gone.
Well, Annalise and the class were working on Nate's dad's case. We thought when the class action suit went through, we just assumed all those plaintiffs would be let go. But it looks like they all have to go through these separate things. This was all just to see if it would go to trial, so he still might not even win the freaking trial, but let's not stress.
I know, I'm trying not to, but I just want the best for him.
I know, me too. And we saw how hard, Nate didn't want to tell him that he wouldn't be able to live with him, he'd have to go to a mental facility, and then when he told him, he just took it in his stride and he was like, oh, as long as I have you in my life, I'm fine.
He's literally come so far. Like, I remember when they first introduced him, he kept calling Nate a pig and was so nasty because, you know, understandable with his situation of being in prison. But now he's literally just, the growth is just heartwarming. It truly is.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we discovered that's the real reason why Nate, or it's the reason Nate's disclosed. He's always got something up his sleeve, so maybe not, but I believed him. He wants Bonnie to be able to have a relationship with her child because reconnecting with his dad was so big for him. And the whole episode, Annalise was telling Nate to stop looking and he was continuing to look. And she was so toying with the idea of whether to tell her or not, and she told her at the end of the episode, and Bonnie literally broke down on her. Bonnie cried again.
It's like moments between Bonnie and Annalise recently have been so fleeting, and when we saw them last episode just hugging and crying it out, it was so just nice to see them be close again. I'm really invested in this investigation to find her child. I kind of hope we do.
Do you imagine if they start digging and he's dead, or
I know
they sold it or something?
That's my worst fear, is just the child having a horrific childhood. But I hope he's alive. They're alive and well somewhere. Possibly it's Gabriel. We don't know. I don't know if it is now.
I absolutely don't think it's Gabriel.
Yeah, it's not looking like it is. I entertained the idea, and I kind of wanted it to be just for the bants of it all, but it's not looking like it.
I want to see a Bonnie showdown with her sister. Why did you take my baby?
Literally, I need a Bonnie and sister showdown because it is long overdue. How could you take your sister's child and not say anything?
And in the flash forward, Michaela was ringing Nate. I can't actually remember why she rang Nate, because I think they were looking for Oliver, but okay.
Yeah, very weird choice to ring, but okay.
Nate and Oliver's secret relationship.
Don't even put that in my mind.
She rang Nate and Bonnie had Nate's phone, and as we know, Bonnie killed someone. You said you thought she just closed the eyes of the dead person. I said I thought she was smothering them. I went back and looked, and she was doing both. So
okay.
Literally two-handed.
Okay, because I think it's quite interesting because we obviously have different takes when we watch this, so our opinions are going to be different. I don't know, when I first saw it, I thought, you see in movies when they close their eyes when they're dead. Yeah. I just thought that was the thing, but clearly Bonnie has done a bad thing. Possibly smothered, killed this person. I mean, she's killed before. This is not news to us, but why and who? These are questions I need answers to. Oh, we're back in class. God, it's really tiny.
Why are they all looking at her like that?
We're gonna do a different type of case review today. We're gonna call it an autopsy. So let's cut open the body and see where we went wrong during the trial. Where I went wrong.
Oh, she lost a case. No, shut
I
up.
needed to prove
No.
that my client was insane.
You screwed up with your very first decision.
You mean replacing you as second chair with Mr. Maddox?
I guess I'm talking about your second decision then.
They lost? What the hell?
Annalise doesn't lose. What is this?
It's cheap and it's available on the 15th. We should book it.
My mom has a church retreat every year around the holidays. I have to make sure she's free.
For her son's wedding?
Do you agree, Mr. Walsh?
I think whatever Gabriel thinks.
Connor, it's still
What's
a
his
person.
problem?
Try hard on the case.
Your name is on the Supreme Court.
Oh,
You have so much hope. And
Yeah.
I don't like to see it anymore because I know it's
Just
gonna
been messing with
shatter.
me my whole life. Finally get to take the stand in front of my peers.
Look at that face. How can you say no to
I tell
that?
my clients what they want to hear, and then I win, and they forget all about it. I'm late.
You ripped open the part of my life that I killed myself to get past.
What can I do?
That's the problem.
I think you're too far.
You did what
gone.
you did. Now I'm left with it.
So I mean, whatever she decides to do, I don't think she'll be able to move past it as easily.
They've opened the wound and now you know she's bleeding.
You also failed to properly prepare for the prosecution's first witness.
You mean they're hostile witness?
I mean your client's son,
Mm-hmm.
Nate Leahy Jr.
Why
You
is he
knew
the
about his complicated
prosecution's
history with his
witness?
father, and yet you failed to grill him before he took the stand.
She did. When your father was living at home with you, what was his mood around the house? Was he angry?
Objection. You can't testify to someone else's state of mind.
Sustained. Introduces evidence, a letter written by the witness.
Objection. This letter wasn't in any of the discovery.
The letter has only just now become relevant, Your Honor.
Why are you getting so defensive?
Because that's what a real lawyer does. Defends their client.
You're not a real lawyer. You're just her little mini-me.
Sit down.
You hid in the back of that courtroom like a baby the entire case, and now you have something to say.
You sat shotgun and let her drive this case straight off a cliff.
Connor, where is this coming from?
If he knew where the case was gonna go, he should have said something in the moment, not let her lose.
I know.
I think he's just being Billy Big Bollocks because he can see it all after it happened.
I love that.
But I don't want him to come home. My moms and I are doing good without him. But that will all change
Oh.
if you believe his lies and let him out. I feel safer with him behind bars.
Oh, for him
No.
to hear that.
I was supposed to win that parole
We'll
hearing.
never know if that letter was the reason you lost a hearing.
You want to know what happened after that? Huh? I started picking fights with everybody, disrespecting the guards. That's when they put me in the shoe. Keep him away from me. I
Oh,
don't want to see his face again.
You better want to.
How could it go so wrong?
Why didn't I see it coming?
You were too close to the witness.
Conflict of interest?
I'll see you guys back at the house.
what?
Those two guys
They're
friends
working
again?
together?
They're probably just boning.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do this, we need to be more discreet. and we need
Possibly.
some ground
The only
rules.
logical explanation.
Ground rules kind of take the fun out of Operation Slamma-Jamma.
Ew.
Your place tonight?
I think I can squeeze you in.
Shut up.
Kinda sick. Because if it's serious, her boss needs to know. So you came here as her boss.
Bosses don't make home
She
visits.
won't answer my calls. If that's because I freaked her out with that stupid HR form, you tell her to forget it. I'll pass along the message.
No one, Bond, deserves to be happy more than you. So,
Oh.
if you just want to pretend you never found this out, I fully support that.
Aww.
My frowny heart.
They're good when they're like good friends, not lovers.
At least we have the psych expert on our side. I mean, that's all we really need.
You lied on the stand, Annalise. Remember writing the letter.
Yeah. Okay.
You're just a boy.
First time I saw him in cuffs, I was pissed at the cops. The third, the fourth, I began thinking he wasn't the good guy. So I decided to be one of them.
Makes sense.
Oh my god, isn't they gonna start crying again?
Oh my god! He's a broken man.
Do you think I would drag our asses all the way to the Supreme Court only to lose in Philly?
Oh,
We're
stop.
gonna win.
That smile. I love Annalise when she smiles.
At least they didn't give us false hope and told us they lost straight away. But I would have thought they'd win for sure.
I believe your cross of the prosecution's psych expert was an unqualified success.
Does everyone agree that I won the round against Dr. Charmaine?
I think you won. I just don't understand how you got that intel.
A good lawyer never reveals their deep throat.
Shut up. For God's sake.
What the hell?
I'm working on a Slamma-Jamma playlist. Hope you brought your
What
backup
the-
panties.
Why is he like this?
He loathed Michaela. Now he's jiggling his stuff.
Never say that again.
The DA's office uses him as a psych expert all the time.
You do realize you're still in the doghouse with me.
You think I'm a heartless bitch. Your heart is big and kind, and
She's
that's why I
manipulating him.
If Nate was the one coming to you right now, you'd do this for him.
Him and Nate are bros.
Are they?
Why don't you tell me what's going on with Bonnie? Tell me what is up, or no juicy intel for you.
Not really her place to say her.
I know, everyone's been talking about it behind her back.
I know.
And that man
Be fun.
is her father.
I know, I remember when
Can I do
Asha
anything?
saw
You can
that.
give her some
God.
space.
Senior's case is the last time Dr. Charmy's allowed to testify.
Why?
Why do you think? Hello, Governor.
Oh, is he English?
Believe that the defendant was insane on the day he killed Gerald Reinhoff.
No. No.
You mean even after spending a year in solitary?
The patient files lead me to believe that Mr. Leahy was only pretending to have delusions.
Is it true that Governor Burkhead hired you as the head of the new mental health initiative?
I want to see this Governor Burkhead who keeps sticking a neb in.
I am in adamant agreement with Ms. Keating. I instruct the jury to disregard
adamant.
Dr. Charmaine's entire testimony, as it is biased and lacking all credibility.
Suck on that, people!
I'll come to your place after I pick Christopher
I
up.
can't tell if they're
Everyone
setting up a
can bring him.
romance between these two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be second chair pretty soon, and then I'll need your help.
Flirty banter. This is different.
You can be mad at me, Nara. I'm mad at both of you. We're losing this case. You don't know that. I got eyes. I can see what that jury is thinking. This is my life. And for just once, I want a chance to fight for myself using my words.
Oh, does he lose it himself? What is the thing that makes him lose?
Maybe this was the mistake. Her?
Hey. Put together a list of every major...
What? He's named Annalise in his contact as her. What?
What do you think?
That's so...
Our client's taking the stand.
Oh,
Sounds like he hates her though.
misogynistic. I don't like that.
That's just as cryptic as the one.
You made me feel like some random hookup from Humber kind of way.
I'm sorry. I guess I just got kind of lost in the moment for a second.
You're thinking of Annalise?
God, I hope
Then?
he wasn't.
You have every right to be pissed at her.
Are you trying to rile me up again?
I want you to take all the outrage that you've been burying in sex and put it into the class action. I want to marry the badass social justice renegade.
You were doing so
That's
good.
how you really are.
He was so good. These last few episodes.
Every high-profile insanity defense from the 90s was won without putting the defendant on the stand. That way my guy won't end up being a serial killer.
Why would he become a serial killer? His dad passed down some bad genes or something?
It's a bit insensitive.
His dad's not around. You know that. Your dad?
Ghosted before I knew him.
Yeah, give us an insight into your parents, Gabriel. I'm intrigued.
We should get back to this.
Bonnie in the family line.
Oh, Frank's watching!
Frank! What the fuck? Is this weird shit?
He's watching a new couple blossom. Go to your sisters. Oh.
God, this is so sad.
You know, studies show that prisoners who fare the best in solitary are the ones who have a strategy to overcome it.
I had a photo of me and my son that I snuck in.
This photo here?
I remember that.
I started hearing things and seeing things. And all that's because they took my son away from me.
How'd you feel when they let you out?
I was scared. I was a bomb fixing to explode, and I did. And I still don't know why I did, but I did. And it doesn't matter if it was him. It was going to be somebody. That is what the shoe did to me. I wasn't myself.
But I think he's doing good. Why did they lose?
That sold me.
You have to be honest. If that stupid HR form made you freak out, just rip it up.
God, he
That's
knows
the
nothing.
least. That's the least on her mind.
My father molested me and my sister.
And her sister.
My mother knows how they made money.
Oh.
I hate hearing about her past. It literally gets worse and worse.
I had the baby. And I just found out he might be alive.
God, even he's on the verge of crying.
You're the bravest person I've ever met. I mean it. And I love you.
I like them.
He said the L word. Oh, they're really cute.
Yeah.
How is the jury supposed to believe your made-up version of events? Is it possible that you threw the first punch?
I know I have a lot of problems, but I'm not stupid. I remember it was the worst day of my life.
It sounds like you regret what you did.
Your Honor, the counsel is testifying.
Oh no, he's getting too emotional.
How could you feel regret if you were insane at the time?
The jury left that testimony believing our client knew the difference between right and wrong when he killed Reinhold.
So you don't think I can come back from that?
I think you know my answer by now.
He's
so
sassy.
Let's discuss how we could still win this case.
It's an ongoing case though, so it's not closed.
Really?
Oh.
You've already given up on me.
I think you should move for a mistrial. Losing this will hurt all of your class action appeals
Oh,
going forward.
yeah.
Who agrees with Mr. Maddox that I should move for a mistrial?
Does anyone even have any other options? Well, at least he has an idea. Come on.
Yeah.
Everyone else is tight-lipped.
Miss Keating?
I like how they have secret code.
492,750. That's how many minutes Nathaniel Leahy, my client, spent in a cement box smaller than a parking space. Nathaniel Leahy went into solitary confinement for less than a year. And just days after he got out, he did something he'd never done before.
Is that the size of the
Yeah,
space
I think
he's
he
in?
created his
Now, if you
cell
still
size.
don't, I want you to put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah,
for
make
1
him stand up
minute.
and go in that square.
Just a fraction of the time that he spent there.
That is a
492,750 minutes.
small space.
And all he heard was this.
Oh God.
Something rattling outside that just ruined the
I
moment.
heard it and it ruined the moment. This is extraordinary.
The fade to black. Oh my god.
That told more than words ever could.
You want me to tell Gabriel?
Why? It was your idea.
Oh, go on, Connor.
Maddox, give this to Annalise. It's how she can get a mistrial.
And they only want to
Go
know this
on,
case
Connor.
well enough to catch that detail.
Come on,
Oh, it doesn't
Connor.
I'm smiling. I need to stop. They
I
might
know.
lose.
The jury finds Nathaniel Calvin Leahy not guilty by reason of insanity.
Yes! Oh, get in there, people! We got a not guilty! Connor! Give him a raise!
You told your story and they listened. This
He
is
got his day in court! I love the justice!
It's one step in a 100-mile journey in wiping out injustices in our legal system. So let's keep working to give the invisible population in prisons the chance to tell their stories in front of a jury.
12 strangers forgive me, and I can't forgive my own son. Huh?
Oh man.
God, it's gonna make me cry! Stop it! All the feels!
I asked him how he ended up there, that some guy he hoops with told him about the apartment. Who
Yeah.
the hell is he?
We're the ones cleaning up their mess.
Is that a shot at Governor Burkhead?
I
Oh
respect
yes, it's a shot,
This
you
is
bet it
Governor
is.
She has a tough job.
See if she's got the balls to say any of this to my face.
Oh shit! She's calling her out on that bullshit!
You're having sex, aren't you?
God.
Groceries.
Connor and I deserve to know if our best men are boning.
You're planning your joint bachelor party.
Operation
Woo. Oh wait, what? That's what it was.
I don't want one of
Really?
Well, we're doing it, and we're doing it here because we're all poor.
This is gonna be the best bachelor party ever.
Outside Julie's.
Ah.
Oh.
Don't do anything.
God.
I'll come right there. We can do this together.
I'm not alone. Ron drove me.
Oh god, I'm scared. I said I wanted a showdown, but I'm nervous now.
Anyone seen my husband? Mom?
Oh! Fuck! Oh my god!
Ew.
Ew! What the fuck? Oh! Asher!
Ew. Why did we have to see that?
was traumatizing.
Nice to know he's alive.
Yeah, and that's how we find out.
Oh god.
Whoa.
Could they not have just had them kissing? Why that way? I love that plot twist of Asher is being civil with Michaela for the bachelor party, and that's what it was all along.
I know. We should have known, really. Asher is a sucker for a party, and all that dancing he was doing, the signs were there. Like, we just didn't catch on till too late.
I was thinking, oh, for God's sake, Asher, are you really gonna let your penis go in the way of your pride? And then it was just that all along.
I mean, he was thinking with his penis in that fast forward.
Let's not talk about it. He's alive, so it's between Oliver, Nate, and anyone else that isn't in the main cast.
It's not looking good for Oliver. Like,
I really don't believe it would be Oliver, though.
It'd be really messed up for the writers
Body killing
to make him
Oliver.
die.
Why?
Yeah. Why? And why on his wedding day? Come on, people. That's just messed up.
And the Christopher in all of this is still very confusing to me as well. Who would have had Christopher?
I know, that's another
Gabriel.
thing that's...
Gabriel is an option at this point if him and Laurel end up, you know.
I know. Like, Laurel and Gabriel, unlikely pairing. They've been getting closer, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not huge on them together. I don't know. I don't really feel any chemistry, and the thought of, you know, Wes is still too strong for me for her to move on.
See, my take on this, my thoughts when he was in the room with her, when they were talking about Wes, for some reason I think he's trying to dig into everyone. I don't think if they entered into a relationship or anything it would be genuine, because I feel like he's being really fake. I think he wants to find out stuff that happened for some reason. Like, he's clearly got a connection there because Frank knows who he is and Frank is watching him, and I feel like Gabriel is on the sly, like, investigating them. He's got Annalise in his phone as her. Like, is she a her for him, a villain who he wants to get back at? Who knows? And also, like, we've seen him eavesdropping on their conversations. I feel like he's trying to discover stuff about them. Maybe he's involved, like, maybe he knew Sam or something, like, back in the day. I don't know. I just feel like he wants to dig up their past crimes.
I think you're onto something, because Gabriel's always been a little sketchy. Like, he's always put his nose into things that aren't his business, and I feel like we've seen a lot of the times where, you know, our regulars get really annoyed at him whenever he, you know, butts in to, like, personal stuff.
Yeah.
So he does. He might be a mini Frank.
Maybe.
He might be, you know.
I'm trying to think about people who have died so far, and maybe he knew Rebecca.
Honestly, at this point, anything.
I think he has to know someone, because he was really interested in Bonnie, and I don't understand why he'd be so interested in Bonnie, because all he heard about her was that she was with Annalise and then they had a falling out and now she doesn't work for her anymore. Why was he so interested in seeing her at the DA's office? Like, it's all just suspicious to me. And he has that hard drive and that encrypted email thing. He clearly knows his stuff. So yeah, I don't trust him. But I do think he is a good lawyer, and I hope he's genuine in his intentions there. But everything else and his dynamics with people, I don't trust.
I agree. I feel like he is a good lawyer. He has his heart with every argument he's got. You know, he always thinks about his clients on a more deeper level than I think anyone, to be honest. So I think he's genuine with what he's striving to do, which is to change the justice system and everything. His family, on the other hand, I do want to know, because it's always been such a mystery, and Frank's little investigation, like, I like to know what he knows, because it's obviously something. Frank has not dived into something this deep in a long while. You know, his services are very very special. He does very hard missions, so I feel like this has got to mean something. His parents have got to be someone notable for Frank to be this interested, because he always references Gabriel as her kid.
Yeah.
Or like that's what he always references him as. So
who is the one?
Gabriel
as well.
Yeah, who's the one? Well, we need that. And who are Gabriel's parents? Because they must be a key asset into all of this shenanigans.
Yeah, his mother at least.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe she's also her in Frank's phone.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, there's so much stuff. Like, my brain can't catch up with all the drama going on. There's like 10 different side plots.
Yeah, I know. This season is crazy in terms of storylines.
I know. We've got Bonnie's baby. We've got Gabriel.
A lot of people say that season 5 is the weakest as well, but I think the storylines are really strong.
They are. There's a lot going on, and I do love this season. I've loved the suspense. These flash forwards are really interesting me. Like,
and this episode as well. Normally people say in the comments like, "Oh, I can't wait for episode 5," or "I can't wait for a certain episode," but I hadn't seen anyone mention this episode, and I thought this was an amazing ep. Like, I'm so invested in Nate's dad and his case, and I loved the way they did it. Like, it wasn't linear storytelling. They had us thinking that they'd lost, but they were actually halfway through. Annalise was speaking like she'd already lost, and we were like prepping ourselves for the inevitable doom. And then it turned out that they were still ongoing in the case, and Connor being the one that came up with the end idea as well. I loved that, because he's been so passionate about it this whole time, and then seeing that he still had that passion even though he was being a sassy bitch. It was just nice.
That is exactly how I feel too. Like, it was structured differently this episode with the case. Like, we got that, it turns out that was present day, and you know, they were talking in the flashback from a week ago when the trial was in court and stuff.
Yeah.
Where she went wrong. I really like that format of how the case went. I think it was a lot more interesting, built more suspense, and we were unpicking everything that happened in court that went wrong, and what went right. And I think that was so much more interesting than just telling us what happens as time goes on. I think that is really good, and I'm rating this episode an 8.5 for that.
Oh, that's low, I think.
I mean, I don't want to give it too high because we've had some really good episodes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's obviously it's not on that level, but I think it's 8.5 worthy. I really like the structure of this episode, and yeah, it's getting an 8.5.
Well, for me, I think it's up there. I'm giving it a 9.5.
Bloody hell! Oh my god, you were going for it.
I thought it was such a strong episode. Like, I feel like it's something we've never seen before with the way they did the case. I'm also very attached to the case, like Nate's dad. We have to protect him at all costs. We've seen how much he's changed even since Annalise came into his life. Like, he was so against it at the start, and then seeing how much hope he had. It was really building up to be a loss, and then he ended up winning. It was, and that moment, apologies that the noise outside my window ruined it, but it was still such an impactful moment. They spent like, I'm assuming they spent like 1 minute in silence, and that was like so powerful to think of how many minutes he spent in there. 492,000 or whatever she said. It's absolutely mind-boggling to think how someone could be in that environment for so long, and for people to think that they would not go insane. I feel like I'd go insane in even half that time. All that time without any social interaction and noise. Ugh.
I know, it's heartbreaking when they showed that square. Like, it was tiny.
Yeah.
That's like the size of a toilet stall in some places. Like, you know, like it's just like horrific knowing that he spent all that time, and the audacity of like the defense saying he's not insane. Like, the fact that they would even question when there is reports and stuff of his mental health and illnesses. Like, it just baffles me. And the fact that they did that silence, I think it spoke more than words could.
Yeah.
And it was so impactful and very moving.
Yeah, it was a very moving scene. I think that's up there in one of the all-time How to Get Away with Murder greats. A pattern worth mentioning. I feel like season 5 of every episode is really strong, actually, because I remember season 2, episode 5, it was the episode where we found out about Bonnie's abuse growing up, and that was awful, but it was still a good episode. Then season 3, episode 5 was when Bonnie and Frank slept together and we saw Frank's past. And then season 4, episode 5 was when we saw all Annalise's backstory, Annalise and Bonnie's backstory together. And then this episode, it was about Nate and his dad's relationship and getting Nate's dad a trial. I wonder why they've chosen to make episode 5 such a strong episode in the season. It's such a weird number, but it's a weird consistency.
I can't believe you remember everything that happens in each episode. Like, oh my god, the coincidence as well. How they really, like, there is patterns when it comes to this show, and you can tell from that. But you know everything that happens in these episodes. I'm useless.
I forget so much. But like, notice I didn't say season 1, episode 5 because I don't remember what happened in that one. That's too far back.
Oh, that's still so fresh. Season 1, my god, that was when they were like battling out for a stupid trophy.
Yeah. See, how I remember most of this stuff is from our episode thumbnails because they stick out in my mind. And I think season 1, episode 5 is Laurel and Frank kissing for the first time. So let's block that one out in best episodes.
I mean, I very enjoy Laurel and Frank, so I'm not going to shy away from that.
Yeah, see, episode 5s are all amazing because Laurel and Frank kissed for the first time in episode 5. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching our reaction to season 5, episode 5 of How to Get Away with Murder. If you want to watch our uncut reactions to How to Get Away with Murder, the link to the Patreon page will be in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time for episode 6. Bye!
Bye!